Greetings, Earthlings, wisdom keepers, wisdom seekers. Welcome back to WizdomDropz, your source for daily drops of wisdom. I got a coconut covered date. Allah! It's Heavy Cat Astrology. My name is Tonia, and today we are eating coconut covered dates and also discussing reclaiming our atmosphere, reclaiming our planet, reclaiming Mother Earth, our Earthship. I'm on a wisdom sprint. This is just a marathon of continual sprints of wisdom drops on important integral concepts that have been radiating in my soul lately that I need to speak to y'all about. So we're here to go to church today. We're going to vegan, plant-based, earth, mama church, so that's what we're talking about. But in this video, it's about reclaiming the Earthship. And I'm going to talk about different ways that we can reclaim our Earthship. I'm going to break down for you some different issues, okay, that are going on in the world and what is going on in general and how we can progress as an individual in our lives and as a collective in the world. And it starts with plans. No, but for real though, we're just gonna sit and chill today. Before I jump into it with y'all, I'm sorry, I'm rude. I'm talking with my mouth full. Think of it like a mukbang or whatever those things are called, where you sit and eat with somebody. But before I do, subscribe, like the video, put a comment. What else? If you decide you resonate with me as I eat this date thing with my mouth full, you can book a reading with me. So the link for that is down below. It's actually an email address. You can reach out to me there. But moving right ahead, there's a critical problem. If you're not already aware, and I swear I'll stop eating later if it's bothering you, but if you're not already aware, we're in the 6th mass extinction. What? If you didn't know, now you know. Think about it. Sit with that for a second. We are in the 6th mass extinction. What do you think that means? Put a comment down below for what do you think that means for our society. And while you start that comment, I'm going to finish this bite. Do you like how I did that? That was so Scorpio of me. I was like, I need to choose. So I'm going to ask them a very deep question and hope they profoundly respond. But anyway, I'm a Libra with a Scorpio stellium, just FYI. But moving on, I think that where we need to go as a society, because of this whole reality that there's a 6th mass extinction, is radically reclaiming our Earth. Did you know every day hundreds of species are going missing off of this planet, extinct? Isn't that fucked up? That's because we are going through the 6th mass extinction. There's already been 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. By the way, there's radioactive isotopes around the atmosphere of Mars. I wonder if that has anything to do with 1, 2, 3, or 5. Who knows? I don't. But just a fun side note. Now, with that said, while we're reclaiming, because that implies nuclear bombs, that's the only type of energy that would explain radioactive isotopes around the atmosphere of a planet. That's why that's like a significant, interesting wisdom drop. But all that aside, we have the fact in front of us that our foundation, our Earthship, okay, our foundation is going through a death cycle. And if our foundation decides to shake us, it will, because it has before. You know what I'm saying? 6 times now. It's in the process of a 6th time of elimination. Now, if we don't radically intervene, what do you think is going to happen to future generations? It might not happen in our generation, but 100 years from now, especially if you're a millennial like me or even younger, in our generations, y'all, in our lifetimes, we are gonna see even more of this. We already have. You say in the news the hurricanes, you say in the news the tsunamis, all these different extreme earthquakes, all types of crazy stuff. The earthquake stuff is not as related to climate change per se, but it can sure as hell be related to fracking, which is called hydraulic fracturing. And hydraulic fracturing is where they take massive machine heads that go deep down into the Earth's surface and they get into the oil layer, you know what I'm saying, where we got all them fossil fuels, all them super dead mega dinosaurs and all that mega flora stuff. And all of that just soaks it up like boom, 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 like a bad, evil sponge. That then goes on to fuel our cars and things, you know what I'm saying? So it has value for sure, but it's not, our value system is not in alignment with the earth. And when we do hydraulic fracturing, in the process of that, we actually disturb a lot of the tectonic plates that are underneath our Earth's immediate surface. And we hit fracture lines that actually produce earthquakes. You know what I'm saying? We aggravate the fracture lines that are already there, and it produces more severe earthquakes. And that is part of the overarching theme of extinction on this planet. Even though it's not climate directly related, it is, because there's a climate component to fossil fuels and their emissions and that release of greenhouse gases and that process. But it's all connected. And that's the point of this video, is to help you understand it's all connected. And we're going to get to the what to do and how to be on our shit and all that productive stuff, but we need to talk about the problem first, you feel? So like, there's a problem on this planet. People are living way beyond their means of like sustenance and what the planet can take. We're living at this point like closer to 2 Earths when we have one, of like how we treat the earth. So we're coming up with all these unsustainable things. And what is an unsustainable thing? An unsustainable thing is a thing that requires so much energy to go into it, but it doesn't put that energy back at the end. If you think about Mother Earth, this plant right here, this plant came from this earth. And this plant, okay, it came from that earth. And when it dies, because it's owned by me, I hope it dies after I die, but who knows? If it dies in my lifetime, it's going to go back into the earth. It's going to go back into this earth. You know what I'm saying? And in nature, if this plant just came and grew in nature where it originated, where its descendants came from, right? That plant, when it died, it would just fall to the ground and it would decompose, and leaves and stuff would come on top of it and make it go back to the earth. The worms would come in, all the decomposers would come in, probably the flies, right? All the different decomposer teams would just come in, they'd take that apart, and it would return to the earth. It would become soil. It would become compost. It would become nutritive support for life. You know what I'm saying? That is what we as human beings need to strive for. That is the thesis of this video. Human beings need to strive to function off of systems more similar to plants, because and nature in general. Even in nature, if an animal dies, it goes back into the earth and it nourishes the earth, or it nourishes the animals like wolves, who are actually carnivores, and it helps them nurture their existence so they can do their wolf thing. You know what I'm saying? And that has its own ecological function. If you sit there and you think like a radical ecologist for a second, think like a radical ecologist for your life. Ecology is the study of how living forms and non-living forms relate together within environments. You know what I'm saying? So abiotic and biotic factors, da da da. But really though, if you sit with it and you think of how the different interconnections of life function, and how something can support 10 different things and take from 5 different things, and it can end up being more of a producer than it was a consumer, that's insane. You know, that's such a concept to sit with. Plants are a great example of this. They do so much good. They generate their own energy. They're the like natural solar panels of the world. And so how can human beings become more like a plant? Plants take in photosynthesis, they take in light, you know what I'm saying, and they turn it into food. And that process of taking light and turning it into food is photosynthesis. So photo is light and synthesis is to like change or something like that. So to transform, it's related to that kind of word, right? So anyway, like, how can we not be leeches? Because right now that's us. We as leeches, we as definitely leeches on earth. And when this earth gets rid of us, it ain't going to get rid of like the earth. The earth is going to be here. You feel the earth been here. The earth gonna be here. You know what I'm saying? Even after the sun goes out, the earth will probably still be here. It just won't be the same because there ain't no sun. You know what I'm saying? It'll be very different, very different. But point being, the earth is this incredible, perfect cycle of it's just so beautiful, you know, and it has these very, very baseline, sensible, logical systems that function. Everything that comes up, it gives back. You know what I'm saying? Everything that happens on earth naturally, it's not this leech model. It's not the, you know, there are parasites within nature, you know what I'm saying? And they have their role to play. They're not groovy. Sometimes they're ecologically foundational in some ways, which is twisted. But like, when we as a species, as humanity, okay, have become a fucking leech, a parasite on our own earth ship, and the majority of us as a species, we've become this. We produce the plastic, we produce the garbage, we produce the greenhouse gases. You know, we strip away Earth of her foundational integrity, of her natural systems, by chopping all of her forests and by burning them and by growing these unsustainable sources, these crops that solve short-term problems with a very narrow view of what success is and what health is. You know what I'm saying? When we do that, when we torture our earth, when we degrade our earth, you know, piss is good for earth. Piss is full of nitrogen. So I can't even say if we piss on earth, and I can't say if we shit on earth, because y'all know shit's good for the earth, but like, because it makes things grow, it's nutrients, baby. But like, I mean, if we desecrate with chemicals, with synthetic chemicals that kill life, like glyphosate, that is in all genetically modified corn, for example, and a lot of GMOs, soy, okay, as well. And pollution, it's pollution all over the world. Glyphosate, it sucks. It's really bad, because everywhere GMOs are grown, glyphosate is grown. You know what I'm saying? It's grown in the population. It's an accumulation in the surrounding environment and in the foods that are then grown in that surrounding environment. And glyphosate is a neurotoxin, and it's also carcinogenic. So it causes brain issues and brain function problems, and it causes cancer. So this is, again, why we need to eat organic, we need to eat clean, because not only is that supporting our own body and our own health, but it is supporting the health and the wellness of our planet. Because when we eliminate those toxic things from being sprayed in our planet, we nurture our mother. Our planet is our mother. It's our grounded, embodied mother. It is what every house that stands on this planet stands on. It is what every set of feet walks on when they walk. Even if they're in a third-story building, you is still walking on earth. Motherfucker, you got a wood floor. You know what I'm saying? You got a tile floor. Fine, it's synthetic tile. Guess where it came from? All those different synthetic things, they all were starting off as like totally natural things that then got manipulated and contorted all over the place and turned into some Franken tile. But it still originated with earth, because if earth wasn't here as a medium, we wouldn't have any paint to paint shit with. It's literally the foundation of everything. So how are you honoring the earth? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many things in this world, let me just say, that will make it so hard for you to nurture this earth. Our society, that's the point, man, girl, boy, woman, whatever. That's the point. This world, the problem with it is that it's currently, as a society, we are structured to dishonor our world. We do not have systems in place that make it easy to honor our world. So this is transitioning to the part of the video where we talk about what do we do? Well, number one, we need to get informed. And the more information we learn as individuals, the more we then contribute to any given one community we are a part of. Now, on this note, I encourage you today to go out and learn about something. Learn about the key sources of pollution, the worst environmental impacts there are. I'm going to tell you a couple of them right now. It's all to do with agriculture. Absolutely. Transportation and industry. Okay, meaning like the development of everything that is material and that sort of thing. Okay, these are the top 3 pollutants for Mother Earth. Okay, so when you think about those things, how can you agriculture better? You can eat a whole food, plant-based, vegan diet, baby. I just did a video on that. You can watch it because it's hot. Also, when you think about transportation, can you get a hybrid? Can you get an electric? Can you drive less? Can you drive shorter distances than you would otherwise, and less regularly maybe? Can you cycle? Can you take a motor car? Can you make it at least an energy efficient car, like a lower miles per gallon usage vehicle? Can you learn to drive better? Did you know that the fucking accelerator can be all you really need till you hit a red light or a stop sign? Honest to God, people do not know how to fucking drive. Can we go off on a tangent for a second? You do not need to go accelerator, brake, accelerator, brake, accelerator, brake. If you let off your damn accelerator, you are going to slow down. You know what I'm saying? So if you see up ahead, there's a red light or somebody stops, all you need to do is let off the accelerator a minute until you get closer behind them. And 9 times out of 10, by the time you get closer behind them, it's time to accelerate again. Fancy that. Anyway, I digress. But point being, when you drive like that, the point of saying that, you use less gas. I've watched it happen. I have a little miles per gallon reader. I pay attention all the time to that sort of thing. And it's like, when you don't drive like a maniac, you use less gas. Go figure. So there's that. You can also learn to not, like I say, take different alternative means. Public transportation, didn't even mention that. It's still a thing. You know what I'm saying? It's still a thing. Even now, like, you can still use public trans. So thank goddess for the public trans drivers and stuff, because they're cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad they're there. You know what I mean? When you're inebriated or when you just have the option to use that vehicle source, I think it's great. It's great. But point being though, like, we need to treat our planet better. So we were talking about the different forms. You can buy things locally, because we talked about food and we talked about transportation. Now we're going to talk about industry. You can buy things that are more locally created when they're available. Now, I'm going to be so frank and forthright with y'all. We're really going in, and I don't like to sugarcoat diddly piddly diddly. But the thing is that it is so hard to find anything new that is manufactured in a country other than China. We are going to go into it. I do not care. Look, let me just put it out there first and foremost. There ain't a racist bone in my body. I don't think that the Chinese people per se are bad. I am not saying that. What I'm saying is it don't make a lick of fucking sense for us as a nation to buy shit made in China. Why the fuck are we the United States of America and we're out here like, we as the superpower pounding on our chest and shit, and we can't even build our own shit? Made in America stuff is better quality. Why? Because the things made in China have a lower environmental regulation than us here in the States, so they can get away with putting in all these extra chemicals that actually cause cancer. You ever notice on every single motherfucking piece of things you buy from China, there's California Proposition 1,000,001, because there's so many damn chemicals that they be using in their stuff that is just not groovy. It causes cancer, it causes birth defects, it causes all these different things that you don't need. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. So what's the solution? You go hunting for things made in the USA. I'm sorry, not sorry. That's part of the solution. I go hunting all the time. The other day I spent 20 something dollars on a pair of pliers, and they're a good ass quality pair of pliers because they're made in the United States. Go figure. And then there was like a $10 alternative in China, made in China. And I guarantee if I had bought that and taken it out of the package, it would have stunk like nasty fake plastic chemical, because that's how they produce their shit to get it to us so cheap. And like, I'm not going to buy that. I would rather spend twice as much and get the thing made in the States. Now, is this feasible for everything? Maybe. You know what I'm saying? If it's a life priority for you, maybe not. And there's times where I buy things where it's not made in USA, trust and believe, because again, this world makes things not easy for us to buy the right thing, because it costs more money. Another clever cat, my friend, way to get around this is secondhand stuff. Antique malls are great. Antique malls, you have these perceptions of like, oh, they're so expensive. Not all the time. There's a lot of regular items you can find at antique malls that don't even seem antique a lot of the time. Really weird. It's like an upscale garage sale. Just a side note, just a thought. And usually it's like an individual person that actually owns that. It's not like a mega corporation. So you're buying local at a level. You feel like not only are you buying something that's already been created, you're giving it a second life, but you're buying something that's more unique, probably more original, has more character. And you're buying something that gives somebody else that's a real human like you and me money, not like a techno hybrid fucking half robot, half human being at the top of some crazy multi-trillion-dollar company. Who I'm talking about, but it ain't that. And so that's a clever thing you can do to get around that. If you need a new piece of furniture, don't be going to the Target, go to the antique mall maybe. You know what I mean? Get the same quality or a better, better quality thing for the same ticket, the same money. The same money exchange. You can find a cute thing for $20 at Target that you can find a cute thing, the same thing at an antique mall for the same. It ain't as predictable. You can't be looking online like, hey, what's the antique mall got today? Like you can with Target, but look at what you can get. You can get something totally unique and original and super cute that has way less bullshit in it than something produced in China nowadays. Just saying. Okay. Now that is one way you can go about it. Secondhand stores, antique malls, thrift stores, for different stuff like that, for sure. There's so many antique or not antique, like stores that give clothes away for so cheap, like good quality clothes that still have the tag on them for $40. Guess how much they cost there? $4. Like, why don't we do more of that as a culture? There's so much abundance that people are just throwing shit out. They're throwing clothes with tags out to the thrift stores, for crying out loud. So think about that for a minute. Like, that is an opportunity to be less environmentally detrimental, to go those sorts of like routes for these 3 different primary sources of contamination. And when you eat a plant-based diet, I didn't even say that in the other video. What am I thinking? You use half of the CO2, yo, half of the greenhouse gas, half of the CO2. That's insane. And it's something like 1/13 of the water, 1/11 of the oil. Okay, I might have those two inversed. I never know, but it's a fraction. It's either 1/13 of the oil or 1/13 of the water, and vice versa for those two. It's like that is the amount that you use as a vegan. Okay, that's insane. You use so much less things that are detrimental to our earth. You know what I'm saying? And when you go into that plant-based realm, half of the CO2, not to mention you save an animal like all the time. So at least per year, you save 1 life. And I know that sounds like a small number, but imagine if more and more people do that. That's amazing. And to me, that 1 life is 100% worth it, 100% worth it, 110% worth it. So I think that is, and it's not only, it's not a sacrifice to me. It's something that I celebrate, that I enjoy deeply. My senses are more pronounced. I feel like a fucking vampire, in the best way. Like, I'm a vegan vampire, you know, like Edward Cullen and all that. If I'm talking to the Twilight people, you're probably like, you know, like laughing. But honest to God, it's like I twinkle, what is it? I twinkle in the sun because I'm vegan, and like I have sensitivity to different things more so. My perceptions are more open, they're less contaminated because I'm vegan. I have better skin because I'm vegan. I have better energy, better chi because I'm vegan. I have a better body now. Honest to Goddess, I've lost like the fat that I needed to and maintained all this muscle. Like, I'm stronger than many men that I know, and that's fucked up. I'm not trying to diss men, and I'm not trying to say I'm like a super dyke or anything, which, hey, if you are a super dyke, you're fucking amazing. But like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like that. I'm just strong because I eat well and I nourish my body. And yeah, I came from good DNA, and I'm thankful for that purpose. But like, I nurture my DNA. I don't torture my DNA with carcinogens and that I know of. You know, I don't take in anything that I know is a bad source of this stuff. You know, I don't take in that extra shiza, because shiza is for the toilet and or for the compostable toilet in an ideal situation. You know what I mean? So like, all that to say, like, I'm just really feeling like I needed to talk with y'all about reclaiming our earth. And when we reclaim our earth, we reclaim our sovereignty, we reclaim our freedom, and we reclaim our connection with this very sacred planet that has oh so much wisdom within it to share. Everything in nature is deeply rich with wisdom. Everything in nature is saturated in wisdom. And with that said, I hope this video brought you value. Hit the like button because you know it did. And until next time, may the stars be with you. Peace.